Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode here on the Hermitcraft Mesified server. We're outside of the greenhouse and this has been our focus for the last couple of episodes. In today's episode we will be focusing on some technical stuff, doing some redstone and some farming down in our base. Going to take a break from building because we've been doing a lot of that, but I do want to start off by showing you what has been done in this area. On a live stream we built a little path that went down here. And you may like this, you may not. All I know is that I'm challenging myself and I'm liking what we're coming up with here. It may not be the prettiest thing ever, but it was really fun to build and I think it turned out okay. So what I wanted to have was a rocky formation on the left side of the path, which we have, and that kind of goes up against this artificial brown wall. So it's a little bit contrasty, but I like the way that it looks. It could probably do some improvements. Then on the right hand side I wanted to have some nice greenery, and what we've actually gone with is just lots of sprawling leaves. And I really like that. It looks kind of unkept and overgrown and like it's sort of moving across the path, which is just great. Now, when it comes to the building here, we have what are called window wells, as many of you have informed me in the comments. We have these going all the way around, and I decided just to remove it here. It's okay to do that, you know, to make your building not completely uniform, as you can see out into this shrubbery a lot. So anyway, the path is going to go down here. The long-term plan is to connect it up to a path between Joe Hills' base, going past Biffa's and connecting with the path over there. Then we will have a sort of rocky formation with some big trees on it over on this side. And what we're dealing with at the moment is this right here. You can see that the horseway used to be right here and it's sort of been covered up. It actually it's down below there somewhere and it goes off into a cave. So what I thought we would do is move the horseway to somewhere around here. In fact, we might be able to see those caves a little bit. Nope, it's all completely sealed off. So I don't think Joe would mind because it wasn't like a proper building or structure, it just dug a tunnel. So we're going to move the entrance over to this side. Our artificial scenery here with the rocks is going to spread around over to this bit, so it's going to meet up with there. And then somewhere in here we will have an entrance that goes down below. So I'm going to take care of that in a moment though. There'll be like a little tunnel to meet up with the horseway. The other thing that I want to show you before we get going on that is the roof. It has been finished. There is now carpet over every single block. As you can see in my inventory, I've crafted too much of this stuff. I've got some left over, and this was possible thanks to my buddy Iskow, who left us a care package. I don't know for what reason he did this other than noticing we needed a lot of wool, but over here we have the care package of doom. Assume a care package 2000 of doom. I don't know why it's 2000, I don't know why it's of doom, but you can see he's dropped us off a lot of wool, which is extremely helpful. Iskow, if you are watching, appreciate it, buddy. It's made a world of difference here. Let's have a walk around. I think I like it. I like it because I made it, but I think some of you may not like it. Try to throw in a bit more dirt on that side over there, and also a lot more iron. There is like a cluster of it at the top. And I will call my buddy Iskow over here. When he's back from Minecon, we need to work together on this. He needs to give me some pointers, but you might just see there's a fair bit more iron around here in a little cluster, and I really like it. But one obvious problem then is down here, because like all of a sudden it becomes open up. So I'm going to leave this for now. We are going to move on to our technical projects. I've had my building fixed for the day, but what we need to do is create some sort of transition here that sort of makes an arc and leads it down into here, and then this probably needs a little bit of work, and you can see where it used to go. That's the path we saw a moment ago, and then I've covered up the bottom with brown clay. How many times? There's always a creeper around here. I think that's the third time maybe that I've caught that in a video. Definitely happened more times though. Always just around in the chest area or here do I see a creeper. So this episode we are going to be focusing on building two farms down here, one in this space and one in this one over here. This one is going to be a sugarcane farm. Now I was looking around in an old test world and I found something pretty interesting. It was when slime blocks first came out that I was last working on it. And looking at it again with fresh eyes, I realised I was sort of overcomplicating the whole idea, and actually what I come up with was quite a simple thing to implement. So what we're going to do is have just one sugarcane farm on either side. Originally I was thinking of double stacking this idea, but if we look up you can see that that dirt right there is the dirt of the grass path up above. So I think it's going to be too much of a squeeze to sort of double fill this thing, which means in order for it to fill up the space that we're working with, you're going to be able to see parts of the farm that you wouldn't normally show. So I'm hoping I can make that into something interesting, you know. So where these hoppers are right here, there's going to be other blocks. I don't know what they'll be yet, but the idea will be to have glass in front of it like this. So we're going to see what's underneath the glass, which I'll probably turn to lighting because we're going to have lighting issues around here. And then we're going to see the block behind it, which might be spruce leaves. I think it could be cool to include a lot of leaves in this. They're green, they sort of mix with what we're doing. And then behind that, we're going to have our grass. And I really, really should have dug out a bit more space here. Here's another sound I love in this game. Picking up lots of items like that sounds pretty cool. Just like the instant mine sound as well. Awesome. Okay, so now we can see what we're doing and we've got more space. Behind here we are going to have 2 rows of sugarcane. And I don't have any water on me. What is this? Whenever I jump around here, it doesn't let me jump. That bit's fine, but not this bit. So there we go, 2 rows of sugarcane like this, and above them and behind a little bit, we're going to have a row of slime blocks. They're going to be positioned somewhere around here, and I think actually they can go a little bit further than 8 blocks across. I'll have to double check that. But behind these slime blocks, we're going to have 2 sticky pistons that will push forward, and when they work together, it means we can push out these slime blocks all the way across, and they will push all of the sugarcane down into the water at the front, provided that we have this glass wall going up. So just sort of picturing action, the sugarcane grows here, the slime block will then push along, and it will also push the item as it breaks, so it gets projected forward and lands in the water stream, so there shouldn't be any loss with the sugarcane landing on the grass. And we've got this double width thing right here, which is really cool. As I said, when I first tried to do this, I was really overcomplicating it. I was having it so that there was like this set of sugarcane here, and then another one on the opposite side, and this thing would go all the way out, and then all the way back across, which was kind of pointless, and it made the redstone very tricky. So with it just coming out like this, it's a lot simpler. So anyway, I'm going to craft up some more sticky pistons. We've only got one. We'll wire up some redstone, and then we can do a little test, and I can show you in action. Look at that, floaty redstone. I right-clicked on the wall. We got a ghost block here, and I tried to place a block where it was, and I accidentally placed the redstone. That's really cool. I like that. Hi. Change colour. Anyway, oh, do I have a power source with me? I don't think I do. Yeah, I need to be more prepared before I hit record. However, you know, distractions by magical floating redstone. So this is really getting there. This is what it's going to look like, and these ones over here, it wouldn't normally grow that tall, so that's going to cause a little bit of a problem. Therefore, we're going to chop them down and hope that they don't grow back again. And that one there, I see ya. And we've got a few on this side. Yeah, they're all too high. That's good. And the ceiling will be somewhere around here, I thought, but actually, ceiling needs to be at this height because we don't want them to grow free too, which is going to be a bit of a problem. Anyway, let's go to the back. So this is really simple to understand. You're going to power both of these, and this block right here isn't going to power that one, so this one will power first, right? Aha, but then it's going to move the slime blocks and this forward, and then that one's powered. Now when we unpower it, this one unpowers first, which means... Oh yes, that makes sense. Look, it's powering itself. Anyway, it pulls back that one first, then this one. I basically need to modify the circuit there a little bit. And this is exactly what I expected to see, the sugarcane all the way over here. But the important thing is that the sugarcane shouldn't be on the grass blocks. Now that can happen if they grow free tall, like that one there has done. And basically these are going to push them forward with so much force that they are going to go all the way across the room. So that's why we have the glass here, because then it's going to hit the glass and drop down. So... we've got our glass there, and this is all going to be just too high. I think what we're going to end up with is putting spruce leaves at this height here. If I could jump and place some. It's kind of awkward to place when you've got all of these blocks that you're standing in, the sugarcane. And that'll go back across so that the sugarcane doesn't grow any higher. And it fits into the room perfectly because we've got spruce at the bottom, spruce at the top. I really like that. If we were to have made this thing too high, it probably would have looked quite awkward. You'd have had spruce halfway through the room here. At this height, actually, you could probably do that. You could probably double tier it. Anyway, we're not going to fuss about that. Let's activate this thing. There's a bit there that's grown free tall. Let's just pick that back up so you can see that we're not going to leave any blocks behind. So we power it, excellent, and then we're going to break that, and then it's all good. It's come all the way back, and all the sugarcane is going down. Of course, something has managed to land on the edge. This is supposed to be 100% lossless. I don't know if something grew or if I've made a mistake, but that just happened, I guess. We should finish off this farm and give it a proper test. So with everything filled out, this farm is looking pretty rad in this place. It adds a load of green into the room as well, but it doesn't feel out of place. It just feels like it is what it's supposed to be. And I've been looking at this and wondering, should we put these here to break it up a little bit? Because it is quite a big segment. Now the glass will be behind the acacia, so you get that peering effect like you do over here. And on that side you've then got some sandstone, which would be like at this sort of height. So what we could do is perhaps put some stairs here or move the chest forward. And would this just be like that going all the way up? That kind of looks a little bit bland actually. I'm not sure what we could put on there. Maybe a sign, sugarcane farm, just in case you couldn't figure it out. But then you get that similar sort of peer-in view from the side. I think we'll end up going with this. I very much like that. Let's look at it from back here. Very cool stuff. So the other thing that we're going to do is something quite simple. We're just going to make a EFO hopper clock around the back here. And that's going to activate these one after the other. So they won't activate at the same time. They'll just be on a regular interval going back and forth. There it goes. It's looking pretty cool. This thing works really easy, but what you have to do is make the signal length long enough, so we have a 1 and a 4 tick repeater here, and that keeps it on for long enough to then allow this to extend and retract again. I don't know if it's doing it as fast as possible, but it certainly looks close to doing it, and this thing is way too frequent at the moment. We are going to slow it down by putting a whole bunch of items in here, but otherwise this thing, you know, is pretty much done. Just got to fill in this middle space, figure out how it looks here. Oh, and by the way, I've been watching it grow. All of the sugarcane has now gone down to the front, although it's only like a small amount of testing. I don't know why that extra one landed here. I do think it was because it must have grown free tool. So anyway, this thing should be lossless. We'll figure that out over time, I guess. And the sugarcane is steadily pouring in. So if you were here a couple of episodes ago, I sort of talked about the ins and outs of this melon and pumpkin farm, which is going to be a very small one. And by the way, this is what I settled on over here. We've got this solid sandstone wall and an extra bit of hoppers so we can bring the chest forward. That thing has been running nicely, activating every now and then. And the big problem we come up against here is that we have a pathway. These 3 andesite blocks are a part of it, and it's one that we can't really move, so we've had to squeeze whatever we're going to put here into this space. So I decided that we'd put a little section thing there. We're going to put another one over here, which I might actually take away. It sort of adds a bit of uniform, but sometimes it's nice for things to feel a bit more organic, right? Anyway, if we go down below, all of this is going to be orange clay down the bottom because that's what it is over at this edge. We are really like squeezing into this space, and that's where our minecart is going to go back and forth and pick up the melons that land on here. So in front of this we're going to have glass, which means you can climb up the steps and sort of peer downwards, and there is light coming from this bit here, and you'll be able to see the minecart going across back and forth. The same way you'll be able to see the minecart on top of here, because we will have blocks coming across like this. There'll be a rail on top of it and a minecart that goes back and forth. And it just sort of occurred to me, I don't know where you're going to pick up the items or where you're going to activate this farm. So where we have this thing on this side, maybe we'll do something that looks similar, but there's a button and a chest. So it could be a case of a chest here, a button slightly higher, and yeah, there's plenty of room back here to do some redstoning. So we could have this track come back up and a loading system to put it into the chest. Then around that we can have, let's see, glowstone underneath like we do for a little bit of lighting here, and then our sandstone on the sides, which I don't actually have. I've run out of the smooth stuff, although that would all be offset backwards by 1 block. Flying high in the beautiful, wonderful sky of Hermitcraft, we are taking a break from the melon farm to investigate a beautiful build that has become a little bit more spectacular as I fly over to it, because I didn't realise there was this river around the... Well, obviously there's a river because I knew that this was a dam, which is what we're investigating. I just hadn't seen this firsthand. I'd only seen it in videos, and now it's going to hit me. This is beautiful. This is a custom-made river. going through the area. There's a staircase around the back that is gorgeous. This is the area where Scar's base over opposite me and Cubfan's base down there meet up, and it looks seriously amazing. I just wanted to take a break from building to show you this. I really like Cubfan's base, and I love this waterfall right here. This has something very special and unique about it. There is some redstone that changes where the water comes from depending on the time of day. So as the sun moves through the sky, I believe this water gets a little bit higher, and then it lowers down to this one again, it goes a little bit lower, and then at night time it comes out the sides here, which is extremely cool. I do like it, but what I like most about that is that it's organic. It makes the world sort of react to the time of day, and things happen without people interacting with stuff, you know. I really love that idea, and so I would put it to all of you, if you can think of any ideas where we could do something similar, have a daylight sensor and have some redstone control things that will organically change within the Hermitcraft world, that would be amazing. What is this? Fish, squid, and I can't quite read it because I'm bobbing up and down. Oh, there's just fish dropping down. I am going to have to go and invest. What is going on there? Wow, there's like a fish fall. Man, I need to pay attention to more of the other Hermits videos because I am missing out on some cool stuff. I'm going to go investigate that off camera in a moment, but I wanted to show you Cubfan's base here. I am really impressed with his build style. I would say that he works with things that are quite bold and vivid, like the red nether brick here, but he makes them work. This area is colourful, bright, and there's some high contrasty colours like green and orange at work, and it is gorgeous. I love it here. So cool. Man, Cubfan's done a really great job. So yeah, I'm going to have a little wander around here, find out what that fishful thing over there is, and then we'll head back and finish up the melon farm. Now this is cool. The waterfall isn't artificial 100% because the water that flows through it actually comes from the river behind it. I love that. That is so cool. It could have been so easy just to put in some dispensers. And speaking of dispensers, well, we got a dropper over here. That's where the fish came from. Actually, it's probably not a good idea that I've done that. I should drop them into the water stream here. So yeah, some of the water from the river just comes down here, and you'll have the occasional fish swimming through. And on top of the hill there was a magical cat, upside down, floating in the air in all glory. All hail Dinnerbone the cat. Look at this guy. Because he's on a slab, it's like he's floating up even further. Actually, no, he would drop down onto the slab, so he was still on the other block there. That was so cool, though. I love that, and now I've sort of disrupted it a little bit. Anyway, let's fly back to our base, check out that melon farm. So the melon farm looks pretty interesting, doesn't it? And I really like this because I put in some thought into how this is going to work. And when the minecart goes across the top, we're going to activate some redstone lamps. So it's going to light up a little bit. But also, there's some note blocks back there as well. So it will make a sound, which is really cool. It can play a melody. Now, I gave it a lot of thought, and I realised that wiring this thing up and getting it to work is not going to require a lot of redstone either. So we have a chest over here, and we've got a button above it. This is where the items will come into. Now, we're going to make this so that you can activate it with a button, but I'll probably add an EFO hopper clock that is extremely slow as well, so you can, well, it will run automatically, but you can also activate it manually. And another thing I've done, by the way, is I've just put an end chest over here. I think I might move it to that one, so it's actually sort of mirrored. Although then I'll feel obliged to put another one over here. I don't know, there's an end chest down there. There's an end chest over there as well. Good to have them spread out, because when you're moving around, it's always nice to have one of those nearby. As you guys may or may not know, I put a lot of like useful items. You know, there's bones in here if ever you need a little bit of iron, gold, stone, or cobblestone for crafting. Loads of good stuff in there. But anyway, if we hop round the back, I'll show you how this is going to work. So in order to activate it, we will either power this block with our clock, or we will press the button ourselves. And what we need to unload the drops from down below, where the hopper minecart, which I have on me, will pick it up, so this thing will go back and forth down below, is we just need this to be powered, right? It powers once, it sends the minecart off, it goes all the way down there, comes all the way back, and then when it gets here, it's going to sit on top of the hopper, unpowered, and that's going to take the items out. So that works just fine. Now what we're going to have after this somewhere is a detector rail. So we'll probably have a regular rail, then a detector one, and this detector one needs to send a redstone signal over here. So if I just put this on, that sound isn't too great. Isn't Why did it stop as well? Isn't the sound reliant on what block is below? So we're stuck with a clicking sound as opposed to a more melodic one. It looks like it doesn't have the speed. We might need to double up on the amount of powered rails here. There's a block above my head. That's quite... Oh, look at that. Right, that wasn't powered. Well, that might be exactly why. Let's give it a nudge. Yes, there we go. Oh, it's going to be a bit of a squeeze to get this thing to work, but I will make sure it does just that. So yeah, this detector rail then just needs to send a signal to there. The problem is then we need a little bit of delay after it, so this track will be unnecessarily long. So while that one goes back and forth and crushes all of the melons, the minecart spends its time back here and then goes into this bit after. Right? I think I explained that pretty well, so all of that should be obvious. The one thing I'm foreseeing, though, is that some of the melon slices, I betcha, are going to end up going back there. And maybe because of the translocation thing as well, they might get pulled through the farm. So we might need this thing to be a hopper minecart as well, and then have another unloading system somewhere up there. It could easily get more complicated. And another thing, do you like these melon walls? I really like them. I wanted to put melons across the back there, but then I realised that the melon seed would connect to it. So we're going to put a bit more melon in the top of the room as well. I think we got it. I think we cracked the case. So this minecart is going to come out. It's going to send the signal straight up to the starting position. That one's going to go across when this one's going down. And it's definitely going to get there first, so that's good. Now, the news is that we need to put a minecart hopper on the top, and also one of them, somewhere around the middle here, is a powered rail. Couldn't get it to go all the way across, but what I noticed is that there is some bud behavior happening, where when the minecart goes over, it actually sort of extends all of them at once, if you don't have something like breaking it up at some point. Oops. So if the minecart was to get stuck on this track, everything it would have activated, all of those pistons would stay extended because they don't get an update or something like that. So it's something to do with quasi-connectivity, I believe. Like, the first one gets powered directly by that block, so it extends. Then it's still powered by this one diagonally, and that doesn't update it when it unpowers. That makes complete sense now. So what we're going to do is put the minecart hoppers on. And then we're going to see this thing in action. Have any melons grown? Oh, and by the way, everything here is like finished. There is some glowstone at the top. You can just about see there's melons up the top. And yes, we've got some that have grown as well. Excellent. It is all set up and ready to go. I believe all the redstone is correct. I don't need to double check it. So one up there, you can see there's a hopper chain coming down to the same point. One over here. We press the button and then it's going to go. So let's get around the front. Bam. Yes, that's amazing. And you can kind of see the bud behavior happening there. Now, why did it activate again? Because the other one came back. Huh, so it will activate twice. That's interesting. That makes complete sense, though. So maybe something we want to do in the future is add, like a, what would it be, a falling edge detector or some sort of T flip-flop here, so it only activates it once per, but for now I think that's going to do. And let's just watch that once more. Keep the bud behavior in mind. You can see it, but it gets cancelled out when the minecart goes across the middle. So let's look at these pistons. You can see they're extended, and then the update happens and they get unextended. It's cool, and look, melons are getting caught on the back. What we might be able to do is add a second minecart that goes across that bit there and picks up those as well. But for now, I really just want to call this a day. So I'm going to add an EFO hopper clock. We're going to finish this up and see how it looks. So it's just going to squeeze into this space right here. Apparently there's an item already in there. Huh, that must have fallen in while I was digging blocks in the area. What we're going to do is put 4 stacks of this stuff in. Hey, look, it set it on its way, but I was standing in the way, so I messed it up. It kind of looked like 4 full stacks didn't go into there, but I'll leave it alone. It'll probably be okay. And this thing is noisy, actually. I'm reconsidering the note blocks now, because this thing activates itself while we're elsewhere in the base. Is it in a loop? Oh, I need to add a redstone torch. Hey, and I'm standing, like, right in a little gap there where we can actually do that. Bam! Well, that was nice and simple, wasn't it? Excellent. So that should sort itself out. And yeah, I might reconsider the note blocks because that thing is going to be a noise machine. Flying high in the sky again. There's that beautiful sound of the elytra flying. Heading over here to the super chunk, which is part of Impulse's base. Love this thing right here. Of course we love it. There's all sorts of free goodies we can pick up from Impulse. But we have a deal, and me and Ren have been coming over here looking for bones all the time. And every time we get there, the bones are all gone. Now that is a healthy supply, which I'm going to nab for the peace machine. And yes, Impulse has told me that he's set up a little thing. Oh, it's just the one, is it? Okay. And that right there, but then no more. So yeah, he's set up a little thing so that we can get some bones as well. Excellent. So we've got our own personal stash right here for the log feathers and the war machine, which I'm going to stock up. But otherwise, that is it for me this episode. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. As always, thank you so much for your support, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.